Welcome to Miss.sheeena's world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Elon Musk is expected to become the first ever trillionaire in the history of the world. I'll hold for applause. Okay. I mean, we know a trillion is a number, but it's so large. You can't, the same way we can't fathom it. The same way we know, like, Elon has a lot of kids, but we can't fathom him getting laid, right? So let me try to illustrate it. If you tried to count out loud to a trillion, you would be counting until the year 33,736. $1 trillion is 10 billion $100 bills. If you stack them up, the pile would be almost 700 miles high, as tall as 123 Mount Everest. With that kind of money, Elon could buy every NFL team, all of them, and he'd still have $773 billion left, which he could use to buy all 30 Major League Baseball teams, every NBA team, every Wendy's, every Target store, the Beatles' entire music catalog. He could buy Nike, Macy's, and every Hyundai Elantra ever produced, and would still have $260 billion, $50 million left.
Elon Musk has just become the world's first trillionaire. The CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI saw his net worth skyrocket past the $1 trillion mark last Friday after SpaceX listed on the Nasdaq in the biggest IPO, initial public offering, in history. But how did Elon Musk actually make his $1 trillion? Musk co-founded his first company in 1995, a software business called Zip2, alongside his brother Kimball and another founder. Zip2 was partially funded by Musk's father Errol, a wealthy businessman in his own right, although Elon initially denied this. He sold Zip2 in 1999 for $307 million, receiving $22 million for his 7% share. Later that year, Musk co-founded X.com, an online financial services and email payment company. This later merged with another company to form PayPal, which was later acquired by eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion. Musk received almost $176 million from this deal thanks to his nearly 12% stake in the company. In 2002, Musk founded SpaceX with the idea of building affordable rockets, becoming the company's CEO and chief engineer. SpaceX later received a contract for NASA worth $1.6 billion for rockets to the International Space Station. Musk continues to lead this company as CEO. Whilst working on SpaceX, Musk also joined Tesla as an early investor in 2004, becoming the company's majority shareholder. In 2008, he became CEO, and a lawsuit in 2009 designated Musk as a co-founder of Tesla. In October 2021, Tesla's stock reached a market cap of $1 trillion. Although the vast majority of Musk's net worth has come from SpaceX and Tesla, he continued to found other companies throughout the 2010s, including Neuralink, a neurotech startup, and The Boring Company, a tunnel construction business. In 2022, he also bought Twitter for $44 billion, rebranding the social media platform as X and reducing content moderation in a supposed effort to increase freedom of speech on the site. At the beginning of 2020, Musk was the 35th richest person in the world, but thanks to a surge in Tesla stock and his involvement in the 2024 US election, saw his net worth rise to around the $300 billion mark. In December of last year, following reports of SpaceX going public, Musk's worth surged up to $600 billion. And then on Friday, when SpaceX officially launched on the Nasdaq surrounded by hype, his net worth almost doubled to reach $1.1 trillion, or about 1.57 trillion AUD.
I think it's important to remember on this historical day, as Elon Musk becomes the first trillionaire in the history of the world, that you, that I, are closer in wealth to Jeff Bezos than Jeff Bezos is in wealth to Elon Musk. And all you should learn from that is that you don't hate billionaires as much as you should. Our brains cannot even comprehend the level of wealth that Jeff Bezos has, and yet Jeff Bezos is closer to $0 than he is to the wealth of Elon Musk. Elon Musk spent the last 2 years demonizing trans people, demonizing immigrants, demonizing Latino people, demonizing queer people, Palestinians, etc., etc., etc. And it was all meant to distract you from him accumulating more wealth than any person in the history of the universe. It's a fucking grift. And all the while, remember, 2 years ago, he spent his time gutting funding for the Department of Education, for climate research, for medicine, for science. He gutted funding for USAID, which we now know has led to the deaths of 600,000 people, 2/3 of which were children. So I don't know, maybe trillionaires and billionaires are a bad thing.
Elon got rich, Ebola got worse. Same money, same year. Let's break it down. After SpaceX's IPO on June 12th, Elon Musk became the world's first trillionaire. He is now worth more than the world's next 4 or 5 wealthiest people combined. Meanwhile, in the DRC and Congo this year, the Bundy-Bugo strain of the Ebola virus, for which there is no approved vaccine or treatment, has spread wildly. The reported cases are totaling more than 750. It's all related to taxpayer dollars. Here's how. A government's budget is a document that shows where its priorities are. And since the same guy who took an axe to the agency that works on global outbreak prevention has been getting billions of dollars in funding from the federal government, we should all be asking ourselves, where are the US's priorities and why? Keep following me. When USAID was shut down on July 1st last year, 80% of its global health awards were terminated. As a result, almost every person on USAID's team that works on outbreak prevention in DRC and Uganda got doged. And shutting down USAID was not a free endeavor. The government still has to pay for things like severances, legal fees, and closed contracts just to wind it all down. So now they're taking $2 billion that was supposed to go to running global health programs and using it to shut down the agency that used to run those programs. And $647 million of that came directly out of the outbreak prevention budget, the same exact budget that we need to fight the Ebola crisis right now. So let's talk about IPOs. Companies do it to raise large amounts of cash, usually for growth, but SpaceX took the IPO route because it needed the money. The company posted a $4.28 billion net loss in just the first quarter of this year alone. The company also accumulated a deficit of $41.3 billion, driven by massive spending on Starlink and AI infrastructure. And the scale of this IPO was historic. The market poured $1.75 trillion of valuation into SpaceX, making it the largest IPO ever. Wait, does this mean that the public rewarded the same guy who spent the weekend putting USAID into the wood chipper by making him a trillionaire? Yes. But Mercy, how does this have anything to do with Elon and his private dollars? Babe, everything. Especially when you think about how much Elon's companies are getting from the federal government. Since 2003, Elon's companies have received more than $38 billion in federal loans, subsidies, contracts, and tax credits. This funding came at critical moments in the company's development and helped pave the pathway to him becoming the world's richest human. And to be clear, it's still happening. Another $11.8 billion is already lined up in 52 government contracts to go straight to SpaceX. Both SpaceX and Tesla were teetering before the government and taxpayer dollars stepped in. Do you see the dots connecting? This isn't government money versus private wealth, because it's all the same pot. And one man pulled tens of billions of dollars away from that pot on his way to becoming a trillionaire. Meanwhile, a region fighting an untreatable disease lost funding that used to come from that same taxpayer pot. Now, I'm not saying money got pulled directly from USAID to making Elon Musk a trillionaire, but I am saying the US is putting its money where its mouth is. And right now that appears to be around Elon's So in the words of Bernie Sanders, it's okay to be angry about capitalism. From where I'm sitting, I don't see how it's not clear.
Elon Musk is on his way to becoming a trillionaire, and he's going to use your 401k to do it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to keep this very simple, layman's terms. All right, follow me. SpaceX is Elon Musk's baby. That's his aeroscience manufacturing, a satellite company. I'm not giving that man free promo. Tesla's not his baby like people think it is. It's SpaceX. SpaceX is privately owned. It's not on the stock market like Tesla is, but SpaceX just launched its IPO, initial public offering, meaning it is currently raising funds and seeking investors right now so that Elon can take the company public on the stock market. It's currently doing numbers, like historical numbers. It's raising a shit ton of money, meaning that once it hits the stock market, it's going to go crazy. What does this have to do with you and me and our 401ks? I'll tell you. Historically, there have been some regulations, some acts by the federal government that's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't invest people's entire life savings into a new IPO because that shit is volatile. This isn't people's entire life savings and retirement. Let's chill on that. Let's wait at least a year before we start investing there. You know, there's been time frames, investment methodologies, and like, let's chill on that. Let's protect the average American citizen. Surprise, surprise, those regulations are loosening. All right, the NASDAQs of the world, those indexes, those major indexes, they're like, SpaceX, we need that. We need that today. They're salivating. So what's happening is your 401ks, you and I, they're being now invested into IPOs, all because this man wants to become a trillionaire. Now, if you don't know what happens when an IPO goes public, I'll tell you what happens. It's volatile as fuck. The company stock goes like this. It's a roller coaster for weeks on end, for months on end, maybe even up to a year, maybe more than a year. If you don't have the stomach to regularly invest, my God, an IPO, don't do it. IPOs are volatile, like a roller coaster. So what happens if your 401k is invested in an IPO and a good chunk of it, your investment, your entire life savings goes like this. How does it go like that? Those original investors that invested in the IPO, the big whales, they sell off. Once it hits the market, they sell their stock, they sell their shares so they can make their profit, they can make their money. They dip. They sell, they make their money, they dip. Who gets left holding the bag, the negative value of the stock, the money that was taken out? Who gets held holding that? You and me, our 401ks that dipped and lost value, we get left holding the bag. These motherfuckers are so evil and disgusting and vile. They want everything. They want it all. They will not be satisfied until they have every single dollar, penny, asset known to man. The good thing is you have more control over your 401k than you think. You can actually go to that bank. You can actually go to Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, wherever, and be like, yo, I need to see about my money. Actually, I want to invest in this. You can control how your 401k is invested. Go see about your money.
Elon Musk is now a trillionaire, and yet he's contributed absolutely fucking nothing to society aside from being built like Baron Harkonnen from Dune and having 4 baby mamas. There are no Musk hospitals. There are no Musk libraries. This guy could literally save the world, and yet all he does is collect baby mamas like Infinity Stones. This guy fucking sucks.
On the same day that Elon Musk just became the world's first trillionaire, new reports have come out showing that the average American family has actually lost $3,100 since Donald Trump took office for his second term in office. Elon Musk today is now worth $1.1 trillion. That is more than the world's four next richest people combined. He became the world's first trillionaire after SpaceX shares rose following an initial public offering, an IPO, raised about $75 billion for the rocket company. At the same time, new data released today by Congress, by the Joint Economic Committee, reveals that American families have now spent about $3,100 more on average since Donald Trump took office his second term, specifically on everyday essentials, food, groceries, household burdens, things like that. And it's due to the fact that there is widespread inflation and his trade policies, the tariffs. So on the same day that American families continue to struggle, the world's richest man just got a hell of a lot richer. Spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Elon Musk asked Twitter a few years ago how much it would cost to end world hunger, and they said like $8 billion, right? At the time, he was worth like $50 billion. And then in the same calendar year, bought Twitter for $44 billion. And now he's like a trillionaire. So, hey, Elon, are you going to solve world hunger anytime soon? Probably not, right? You probably never had the intention to do that.